Okay, first up this week for review is going to be Shadow Sun Unification Shadow Sun Book 5, and that series written by Dave Wilmarth. It is 347 pages. It is $4.99. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. Here's the author's description. Allistor just wants to restore the human race. He's doing his best with the resources he's gathered to locate other survivors around the world and unite them. His intentions are good and he pushes hard. The Drac eggs are hatching, and his people have dreams of both a murdered chicken cavalry and a Drake-mounted air force. A small army of class trainers are helping to make his citizens stronger than ever, better able to survive the hazards of their new reality. But fate and the aliens who keep throwing stronger and more deadly challenges at them are working against Allistor. The threat of vengeance from the Fomorian Matron, the machinations of Loki and Hel, and the jealousy of a fellow human with a lesser noble title all add to the pressure. When seeming good fortune turns to tragic loss, Allistor must push through and remain strong in order to face the very beings responsible for the apocalypse on Earth, the murderers of humanity. And this confrontation, even victory, has dire consequences. Okay, full disclosure, I received Events copy for review. I purchased a copy when it became available. This is a very easy review. I'm a huge fan of the series. It's always entertaining, and this is no different. The scope of this story is getting bigger and bigger with every single entry. I'm not really sure where it's going to be going in the future, to be honest. But at this point, the scope is essentially encompassing most of the Earth. And so, like, one way I can see it going is like, oh, now they're going to go to outer space, I guess, or like larger spaceship battles. Maybe, I don't know. I'm curious to see where it goes. But in this particular entry, book number 5, you're getting a main character who's becoming super powerful. His faction is taking over most of the world, and that brings a new scope of trouble for him. No longer is the story just concerned with like a small villain who's threatening his small group or just a particular city. Now he has threats to multiple cities still at the same time. He has like these bigger antagonists that try to threaten the entire Earth system, or his in this case you can see the space station there. And so you're going to just get these like larger scale battles, and it's good and bad in that it's good that there's a variety, and it's bad in that I think it's more challenging to write to scale up these villains in line with, the power creep that's happening with the main characters. But still, all the stuff, if you enjoy this series, you're going to still get the good action, adventure. You're going to get the good character development, RPG development. Although, again, even that is a little muted, and because the characters are getting so powerful and they're getting so many levels at one time, you're not getting a ton of necessarily RPG, leveling or progression. I'd say, like deciding new powers, whatever the case is. There is some of that still, but it is very specific to the group of enemies that appears in this novel, which I'm not going to spoil. So again, the story has several good antagonists, which are talked about in the novel description, and I think it sets up a new mysterious one for future books potentially. But I generally like how the author does not give any cares about who he's killing off in this story. Like he's very okay with killing off like main group characters and major villains finally. And I'm super happy to see like some like serious villain just like, okay, you finally got your comeuppance. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty nice. And like the reasonable consequences of those endings and those deaths potentially. So like a good RPG apocalypse story you should have character deaths because it's the apocalypse, and that happens. So all the good stuff here, action, adventure, territory expansion, all that good stuff still exists, and I had a good time with it. Shadow Sun Unification gets a score of 7.8 out of 10 for me. Almost great. Just like really, really good though for me. So all kinds of great stuff. And it was an super easy to read because it was so exciting. There's so much action. There's so much adventure and the pacing is done very nicely. Even though it is over almost 350 pages, it kind of burns through. So that's a really great score for me. That's Shadow Sun Unification, book number 5 with a score of 7.8 out of 10. Really good time with this.